How you doing? This is Chris with Chris's Comments. Show of common sense on common ground, no matter what the subject. Today's subject, we got two of them. One of them concerning Donald Trump. Turns out the Trump organization is now being investigated in a criminal capacity. This little guy from Nowheresville says it's about darn time. You know, I don't like anybody crooked, especially up in the presidential level. But when you got this much evidence being thrown out there, going from as far back when he was just a ordinary entrepreneur, heck yeah, go after him. A lot of people are going to be wondering, why are we doing this now after so long and all this stuff? Well, the criminal cases take time, especially up at the federal level. You got a guy that was at a level that he couldn't be touched while he was on the clock. You know? So it's you got circumstances like that just prolong everything, including an investigation, including a sentencing. Now it's possible there's going to be he's going to be investigated through something called the Martin Act, which is a lot about fraudulent businesses. But where it hits Trump the most is fraudulent business in real estate. It turns out, you know, all the stuff that we heard about him and his crookedness in the land grab schemes that he performed might actually be true. There was a defraudment case in California concerning, I think it was not hotels, I think it was apartments. Around the time that he was a candidate, he was being looked at into defraudment cases back then, all the way over in California. Now the Trump and Giuliani and everyone that was involved with the Trump organization will be taking offense to all of these speculations, if not actual accusations, if not actual charges. And you know they're going to be striking back. So get ready for a political show. Get ready for, if you're a guy like me that's a rideshare driver that gets a whole crap load of people in the vehicle, get ready for a bunch of speculative bullcrap rhetoric. You know, it's a scam. It's a scandal. It's part of an organization attempt to dethrone the king. America doesn't have a king, but that's beside the point. Here's something to really, really take note of, though. This is something that's not just me that's been looking at it from a third-person point of view that's saying it, but what all the experts and investigators and investigative reporters and all of them are saying. The Trump organization is small, okay? It's his family and close friends. And Trump himself, Donald Trump himself, is a micromanager. He's in it through thick and thin. But someone else might take the fall out of this. Okay, out of this investigation. He might actually have somebody that he could throw him under the bus. And he, maybe even his own family members, will not be touched again. Okay? He knows what he's doing, in other words. The outcome of this, what we the little people want to see, is who's the one that's going to say, okay, I'm guilty. I did it. Okay, that's the big thing here. As far as this people that are, just, sitting around, and that's sitting around watching this, trying to make ends meet, working 9 to 5. All of us punch card time clockers, those of us down here at the shallow end of the pool, this is what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking to see who's taking the fall, because I seriously doubt they're going to get right at Trump. Trump's got so much connections. He's letting it known throughout the course of time. He's got connections in there. He can actually escape also. He can also take off to, excuse me. He could also take off to one of his estates over in Brazil, in which case he'd have to be extradited in order to face any kind of punishment. He also has one somewhere, I think it's Saudi Arabia. I want to say it's Saudi Arabia, where he has an estate over there, that he could actually run to, which would be another thing. Is how is he going to run? Because we're talking about a federal investigation concerning this guy and swindles and deals backed out of and dropped and changed and canceled, and a lot of people affected by this. People that have lost their homes, people that have given up land, that have been cheated out of a great sale from this guy, from our former president. We've got people that have been cheated, hustled, gerrymandered, forced out of their homes. I mean, come on. And all of that through loops and legal bounds and legal loops and loopholes that he's taken total advantage of, with other companies, taking the full blunt of the negative reactions, and the only thing that, Trump supporters can say is, well, it's good business. Well, it's business, but it's not good business. It's dirty business, and it's disgusting. And through the Martin Act, concerning fraudulent cases in the real estate aspect, it's more than likely going to be proven to be criminal, if not at a federal level, which is huge. The only people that usually try to get away with that kind of crap are gangsters. Now, Trump is not a gangster. I have not once heard of him killing anybody, or even suspected of. And I'm pretty sure he's not an actual physical threat. He might be able to rebel rouse people, Confederate lovers, or KKK, or other people of hate, to try to take a couple of shots out into the public. But I seriously doubt that he's got the power to exercise that. There's a difference between him and David Duke. David Duke is an actual leader. He's an actual threat, and a very, very actual influential threat. Trump is just a guy with a bunch of money that tries to feed off of everybody else's hate. So it's close to David Duke, but unless he's got some kind of power, I don't really see him being public enemy number one out of any of this. I do see him, however, hopping a plane and getting the hell out of Dodge once the heat kicks in, once everything starts firing up. But that's about it. I see him having to be extradited, maybe a bounty, being served, maybe by a team of bounty hunters. I don't think it'll actually go as far as the military and the government talking to their government, whatever country their government is that he's going to be hiding at. I think he's going to bail. I think he's going to jump ship. I'll put money on that. He's not going to see federal time, even with him trying to have somebody take the fall. I don't think that's going to work. I don't think so, because again, the Trump organization is small. Donald Trump is a proven micromanager. So he's in at whatever aspect the law can prove is criminal. Trump's involved. I don't think he's going to go to prison. I think he's going to hop on his plane, any plane, and take off to another country. And I'll be honest, that's something that I thought even as far back as the impeachment trials. Somewhere as far back as the impeachment trials, I thought he was going to jump ship and take off and say, "Oh, to hell with this! I don't want anything to do with this," and all this stuff. Now more than ever, I think he's going to leave the country. He's going to run. He's going to duck. He's going to hide at a global scale. But we'll see. The outcome of this is still up in questioning. One thing's for certain: somebody's going to be persuaded to try to take the fall. That's a given. Somebody's going to be persuaded. Now, the second half of this segment, I want to talk about the investigation on the insurrection. Okay? The GOP is opposing the commission to investigate the Capitol attack on January 6th of this year. Now, they claim the legislation establishes a commission to only investigate the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Somebody like McCarthy, who's the GOP leader currently, claims the investigation is too narrow and should include other acts of political violence. Okay, I'm going to stop right there and just focus on that right now. Okay. Other acts of political violence has occurred. This is true. None of which went straight to the Capitol building. Okay? The U.S. Capitol building. There might have been some protests outside of certain states' capitals, capital cities. But none of them were insurrected. There was no barging in. Nobody was attacked. And let's say that there is an including of other other violences. I don't think this would be a problem for the Rwing. I don't think the Republicans are thinking this through. Because if they really pay attention to what they're saying, their memories should be jogged, and they should be remembered that there was another incident. It was in Michigan, where right-wing extremists tried to kidnap. In Michigan, they tried to kidnap the governor or the mayor. I forgot her name or her job title at the capital of at Detroit or Lansing. Sorry. This is pretty bad for the right wing all around, because you've got tons and tons of evidence of abuse from the right wing, the conservative followers, conservative extremists, and they're all hand in hand on the same side of what they believe in as to how the country should be run. And it leads all the way up to the Capitol riot of January 6th. Honestly, if I was on the left, I would include other political violences, and just let the right wing yap about BLM, Antifa, and everything else, because footage shows, testimony shows, police reports show that peaceful protesters were at the capitals and the city halls and the courts, city court buildings and all them, while Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and all the other rioters were out looting just a few streets down from those Capitol buildings, the state Capitol buildings. Footage after footage. I watched every single riot, and they took place away from even here in San Antonio. Here in San Antonio, Texas, the peaceful protesters were in front of city buildings. Okay, they were in front of city buildings, federal buildings. The rioting took place 4 blocks over. The rioting took place 4 to 6 blocks over from Tent City all the way out to another highway within a couple of streets. So as far as other political violences, well, if I was in the left, I'd say, yeah, throw it all in the mesh there. So that way when we come down to ballistics, that those looters were not assaults on federal buildings, Capitol buildings, state Capitol buildings, whatever city you want to do it in. Once that's clarified, the left could actually keep on going and focus in on January 6th. So, yeah, I really see that as a win-win no matter what the right does. Which leads to the Republicans undecided as to whether or not the commission should even be instated. But if they're willing to commit, then why are they, if they're not willing to commit, then why are they even wanting a vote? Okay? They're all saying this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work. Well, the left says, well, we're going to put up a commission, and the right says, well, hold on, should we vote on it? Well, if it's not going to work, then what are they doing even trying to vote on it? They're not even trying to plead a case. And anything that they are doing is setting themselves up for failure as far as it being, too narrow, and that all of the other attacks should be political violence should be focused on as well. Now that's just prolonging the decision as to whether or not the Capitol riot should keep being investigated, which finally comes to, as we're coming down to the close, the last 3 minutes of this particular subject. Yes, it shows it's still the only damn riot that took place on a Capitol building, at least in this century. Yes, dude. It's the United States Capitol building. It's a federal building. And it can't be like Greece. It can't be like Turkey. It can't be like any of the other countries that have had violence reach them at the Capitol buildings. Which to some certain extent was worse, with worse, more higher costs. A lot more blood was spilt, a lot more people were injured, and it was detrimental. It was devastating and everything. The Capitol riot seems small by comparison. However, it did take place. It has to go forward. The people have to keep looking for every single one of those criminals that bursted in during an election count and created a huge disturbance. It's worth our tax-paying dollars to go to that investigation. Even if the majority of them just have to pay fines. That's understandable. Fine. Hit them at the wallet. But everybody else that took it to the next level and raised the bar and made it that much more dangerous, I say no mercy. I say throw the book at them. Throw the book at every single one of them. You go out there to try to be a patriot, and you wind up making yourself this putz. Patriots, they're devoted to the country and all this good stuff, but not at the expense of being criminal, not at the expense of the crookedness, the same type of crookedness that they're trying to blame the left on. That was stupid. That's just downright idiotic. That's a dumb mentality. So here we are now, and it's time to go. We got those two situations that have now brewed up. Everything else down here is fine. We're going through some weather, harsh weather right now, and that's something that we Texans, we can handle our own. Also, the masks mandates have been lifted. It's irrelevant in my eyes because, my job has me mixed in with a whole crap load of germs that have been brought in through people's mouths. Because I'm a rideshare driver. I mean, I got the whole city. I have 1.5 million people in this city, and that's not including the 10,000 to 100,000 in the surrounding counties, depending on which county you're in. All of them need rides, and here I am being of that service. So, the mask is staying on even after this pandemic is declared over. I would feel comfortable. I would feel a little bit more comfortable if we had more herd immunity, but that's where the people dropped the ball. Our government was in on that. Our CDC was for it, and the people. It's the people's fault. If we get more people infected with coronavirus, and more shelters and more quarantine rooms, and more of everybody out there not capable of seeing their loved ones. They brought it on themselves. We brought this on ourselves. We can't even blame the government for this. We can't blame the government. We can't blame any agency of the government. We can't. Everybody out here is ignoring the rules. Nobody's striving for herd immunity. And we've got our own selves to blame for that. We went as far as washing our hands, 6-foot rule, masks, sanitation, disinfecting, hand sanitizing, bunch of stuff. We went through all these things, except for the one that actually would have done a far more larger impact to recovery. And that is the herd immunity. Nobody tried to go at it. They got the reservations and blah, 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 and all this other crap. And that's fine. That's fine. But we deserve what we get if we can't get ourselves to do that herd immunity. We're going to see another spike, and it's going to be our fault, in particularly those who are reluctant to take a damn vax shot. Anyway, well, not anyway, but that's pretty much it right now. Time for me to go. Stay safe out there. Love y'all very much. Hope y'all get through this very well. Y'all take care to stay safe. It's time for me to go. I'll let y'all go. Have a good one. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.